Welcome. This is Joshua Benoist in Autodesk Product Support, and this is going to be video 7 in our series about linking a file in a architect's file into the mechanical project. So where we left off, we were talking about the view range. So the bottom starts at level 1 with a 0 offset, and the cut plane's at 4 foot, and the top goes up to level 2 and 0 foot. The view depth is level 1 with an offset of 0. So let's talk about the view range real quick. We need to make sure these views match the architect's for the most part. Sometimes where the engineer's view range is going to differ from an architect's view would be in the top. So an architect may define their view from level 1 up to a top of level 1 with an offset of something like 8 foot. Their view may stop at the ceiling grid, and they do it this way, whereas level 2 might be defined as the at the deck. So if you're drawing your ductwork up in the ceiling above the ceiling grid, we may want our top to be above and go from deck to deck. But otherwise, we mostly want the cut plane, the bottom, and the view depth to match the architect's. Now, there's one other instance that we've seen a lot here in product support. So customers making a piping, a sanitary plan. The sanitary is drawn underneath the floor. So they'll leave the bottom at 0 offset for level 1, and then they'll set the view depth to the level below, or maybe they'll leave it there with a negative offset. But basically the view depth, they're setting it to differ from the bottom. And what happens is the plumbing lines, when they start getting below the bottom range, they don't know how to draw themselves properly, and you run into problems. So as a rule of thumb, always keep this bottom to match the view depth. So if your view depth needs to go down a few feet below the floor to show your sanitary, make sure you also set the view bottom to match your view depth further down below. You may need to edit your cut plane just to make sure that the walls stay in focus. So anyway, those are kind of the two exceptions, where engineering views may differ from the architect's views. But what you're supposed to be doing right now is going into the view range and basically setting these values to match the architect's values from their views. That may require that we close the MEP project down, open the architect's file, take a peek at how they set up their view, write those settings down, come back into the MEP file, and set the settings for first floor, for second floor, for ceiling plans, and you may want to write those down up front when you're inside the architect's file, saving it as a central file. So those are things to consider. So we're happy with the view range here because our view range matches the architect's file, and you're going to say okay, and then you're going to go to your next view, and you're going to do the same thing, set the view range to match, change the discipline if you need to, stuff like that. Do the same for the ceiling plans. So the ceiling plan view range is going to differ also than the floor plan view range. So when you're in the architect's file, you're going to want to look at one of their ceiling plans if they have it, and write down their view range as well, and that way you can make yours to match. If there's a third story, fourth, fifth, whatever, you'll need to create new views. And to create the new views, you're going to click on Plan Views. You're going to choose Floor Plan or Reflected Ceiling Plan. There is no plain old ceiling plan, even though we'd like to have one.